You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
That's right. Welcome to the Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network. I'm Big Q bringing on us in podcast, the podcast 149. That's right, 149 on the victorious Pelican podcast. As the New Orleans Pelicans were able to take apart the Detroit Pistons. That's right, 118 to 103 up in Little Caesars Arena. But the only rulers in the building were the Pelicans. And they played that way from start to finish. They look absolutely awesome as they switch their lineup up. We'll go into it today and break it all down. Before we get started, I like to give a shout out to all our great patrons, the supporters, and more importantly, our sports family out there across the Sports Coma and Pelican Post Brigade Report world, and give you guys a fine applause. And also, here's DC. How you doing tonight, my man?
I'm good, man. I'm a little impressed.
Oh, yeah,
Pelicans.
As well as we are, man. We both are, man. I think I was jumping up and down the seat, man, as you and making a bunch of racket when they were doing it, because I was just so ecstatic of the energy, but that the Pelicans were showing in this matchup after coming through with an almost losing match against the Nets. They had an exact opposite performance against a very, worthy Detroit team. So I was very proud of what the Pelicans did tonight against the Detroit Pistons. So we're going to recap this game. We're going to recap it with stats, facts. We're going to break it down. We'll give our insights on it.
It'd be very difficult not to be, man, with the intensity that they played with tonight.
Absolutely. We're gonna have some interviews lined up. We got Al Gentry. We're gonna hear what he thought at the end of the game. Also Anthony Davis, and then we're gonna bring in first time Pelican. He's been here before. Emeka Okafor is gonna chime in on the post game report for the very first time. His thoughts on the game is he had a pretty solid match for the Pelicans tonight. I'm really proud that Al Gentry and the rest of the coaching staff made the move, as we've been saying it on the Pelican post-game report. We are indeed, I don't want to say Nostradamus perhaps, because some of his predictions were off, but hopefully he got a better record than that. But he did shift his lineup, as we kept saying.
Well, some of yours been off too. Don't throw that at me.
And also, we got to give Gentry credit for that. But we're going to have some few topics we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about Gentry's job status. Of course, they had a couple of articles out talking about getting rid of Al Gentry. Well, he's fended those guys off for at least another game or so in this match. We're going to talk about that. The role players showed up for the Pelicans, as Rajon Rondo and a few other guys showed up and looked really good in this matchup. Nikolai Mirotic and the rest of those guys really looked terrific tonight. We'll go over that. The Pelicans win 2 in a row after losing 3 in a row. They are now winners of 2 in a row. A very almost losing the Nets game, but fighting in double overtime to take that game. And then that energy carried over into this Detroit Pistons matchup, where Anthony Davis looked really good back at his home position of playing that 4. And boy, did he look terrific. I mean, I just don't have enough positive accolades to say about AD, but we're going to try to find some. And of course, in the second segment, we'll preview the Pelicans matchup against
after you've been playing out of position and you get back on it,
you're going to be happy to be where you were. So, yeah, absolutely. But we're going to preview the Pelicans versus the Lakers matchup in the second segment, as the Lakers face off against the Pelicans on Wednesday night in the Smoothie King Center. Hopefully the roof has been repaired and it don't rain on our parade, as tomorrow, Tuesday, is Mardi Gras Day. So I get the parades will be over. I guess you can call it Ash Wednesday. But the Pelicans, hoping the building is fixed, and as the Pelicans will host the Lakers in what will be the last game before the All-Star break, and it'll be a much-needed rest for Pelicans staff and players, no doubt about it, as they gear up for a 30 plus games on the other side, the playoff run, and get ready for that second grind in the season. But without further ado, let's get right on into it to let you know that this Pelican post-game report was brought to you by the great people at the Posh Lifestyle. That's www.theposhlifestyle, life spelled with a Y, L-Y-F-E style.com. And go and check them out. They have great deals there on heirloom seeds. You're looking to grow your own garden? Guess what? You're going to need some organic seeds. The people at the Posh Lifestyle, they got you. You don't want toothpaste with fluoride in it? Guess what? They got you there. You don't want chemicals in your shampoo? That's fine. They got you there. A lot of other great products. Hundreds and dozens of hundreds of thousands of products are located on www.theposhlifestyle.com. Not just the website, but a lifestyle. Check them out, please. And of course, our little gift to you from the Sports Coma. If you go there and do your shopping upon the completion, when you get ready to check out, put the coupon in all lower caps, The Sports Coma, and get 10% off on your final purchase. That's our gift to you as you visit the Posh Lifestyle. So please check out our sponsors, support our show, and do all the great things that you love to do. Now let's get right into it. Let's talk some basketball. DC. Let's get it right onto it. The Pelicans look really fantastic in this game. Like I said, winners are 2-0. Detroit, they dipping. That's their third straight loss of the season. We're catching them at a time, I guess they're tied, getting ready to playoff race. But the Pelicans, nonetheless, they improved to 30-26 with this fantastic matchup. Anthony Davis had 38 points and 10 rebounds in this matchup. Jrue-holiday was splendid playing defense. I mean, they had Stanley Johnson, a way bigger player on him, and Jrue-holiday defense was right on the money, and his offense was right on the money. He had a double-double in this game, 21 points, 12 assists from Jrue-holiday. We're going to have to think about a nickname for Jrue-holiday. But Nikolai Mirotic played 29 minutes. He was excellent. He had 21 points, DC, and 12 rebounds in this game. And then, of course, Darius Miller, he had 12 points off the bench, of 4-8, shooting from the field, 4 of 7 from downtown. He had 12 points in the matchup. And, of course, Rajon Rondo had 8 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds contributed in just 30 minutes of play. And Emeka Okafor in 14 minutes of play. That's right, Okafor started. That allowed Anthony Davis to shift back to his position at the 4th. But he played 14 minutes, was 4 of 10. He had 7 rebounds in the game and 8 points on the day. So big ups to Emeka Okafor. DC, what are your thoughts on this game before we get into some interviews from Coach Gentry to see what he thought? What is your take on this game?
Man, I was really this game because as we talked about on the last show towards the end when we were previewing it, I didn't think we stood a chance in winning this game, coming off a double overtime and not a back-to-back, but pretty much one day of rest. I thought AD would be not flat, but I didn't think he would come and play the way he did, man. And it's like everybody showed up. The only player we were missing was Etuan Moore. I mean, he had 7 shots and he didn't make not one of them, so he had a pretty off game. But everybody else that they put out from the bench, everybody contributed. And if you look at the minuses, which just rating pretty high, we had a total of 15 and all. So, I mean, you did have some people in there.
All right, DC.
They got chemistry and it all meshed well, man. Nobody seemed to be forcing anything. It just flowed together effortlessly, and that's what we want to see going forward. That vibe or zone that they're in, they need to keep that and build on it, man, and continue to have consistent play after the second half like they did tonight.
Excellent. I think you're right. Etuan Moore didn't bring it tonight, but a lot of guys stepped up in his steady. Nikolai Mirotic gave him 21 and 12. That's as close as to DeMarcus Cousins you're going to get. Of course, DeMarcus, he would be proud of that performance. I just would love to see what this team will look like after we get truly healthy. They could be a very dangerous team now that we got a top-notch shooter in Nikolai Mirotic. But I'm going to let you comment on that comment on the other side of this pros game. Here's Coach Gentry talking about the Pistons and Pelican.
What did you like the most about that win? It seemed like it was great.
I thought we defended, number one. We had a couple of lapses in the transition defense, but overall I thought we did a good job defensively, and then I thought we did a great job of moving the basketball. 31 assists. I think anytime you get to the 30 assist mark, I think we have 44 baskets, 31 assisted. So that's a really good number. I thought we followed the game plan, did a really good job with that. You know, we wanted to take away Reggie's three-point shot. I mean, obviously he's the leading three-point shooter in the league, so we tried to do that, and then we knew that we would have to try to do everything we could to rebound with these guys. That was going to be the big key, and thought we did a good job in that area, although Drummond ended up with 8 offensive rebounds, but I think he's going to get eight offensive rebounds against most people, really.
We talked about Mirotic before the game. What were your thoughts on the performance that he had?
Oh, I thought he did a great job. You know, we just we wanted to start the game not having AD have to bang with a big guy. And so we started Emeka, who I thought did a great job, played extremely well, and was as solid as we needed him to be. And then we thought we could then bring Mirotic in the game, and you know, that would give us a situation where one of those guys would have to guard AD, and we like that matchup.
Is that something that you're going to maybe do game by game?
Yeah, it is. It will be. I mean, it's not anything that, you know, it all depends on who we playing and the personnel that's out on the floor, but you know, for the most part, it'll be a game-by-game decision.
You mentioned that you had to focus on trying to keep them from, you know, some of the rebounding. They're really good at that. And defensively, too, what did you think about you guys' performance tonight?
Well, I thought we did a good job of standing to the ball, number one. They do a lot of stuff with dribble handoffs. Our bigs did an extremely good job of being able to drop and play, too. You know, you got to take away the lobs from I mean, Drummond is very, very good at the lobs, so we tried to take those away, which I thought we did a good job. And then I like the pace that we played with the last 2 games. I think we played with great pace, good ball movement. It's opened up driving lanes for like Jrue to attack and Rondo to attack, and I think that's been really, really good for us.
First back-to-back wins since Cousins went down. How important is it to string together wins right here with in this situation?
Well, you know, I told someone it just takes a little while because he was just such a big part of everything that we did that we have guys that are adjusting to new roles, really. And, you know, you just can't do that in 1 or 2 games. You really can't. And I think they wanted to, and we played some, you know, good halves. The Clippers played a good half, but we kind of struggled the second half. And it takes a little while to find yourself, but I think we're doing a good job of, you know, figuring things out now. And, you know, last 2 games we played good, solid basketball.
What is it about the Pistons that seems to bring out the best in AD's averaging 30 points a game more than any other team?
Well, I was on the Golden State staff when we played them in the playoffs, and he averaged 32 against us. So it's not just them. I think it might be him. You know, he's just he's a really good player, and he doesn't ever force anything. You know, he takes whatever the defense gives him. He's a willing passer, and he plays for the team. He really doesn't play for himself. He plays for the team. So he's had some extremely good games here, but it's because the flow of our offense has been good, and the ball has gotten to him in good situations.
Have you noticed anything?
That's Coach Gentry as he's breaking down Anthony Davis's performance or his role and who he is as a player. And like I said, Anthony Davis was spectacular tonight. I mean, the barrage of different shots that he hit, the 3-pointers he's just knocked down with relative ease. I mean, just what I would call swish shots. It's like dropping the ball in a bucket of water. I mean, the splash. I mean, and then one of them was a soft 3 off the back iron that just went down. I mean, he's just awesome, man. And when he plays at this level, it's tough to beat this team. Pelicans on the night, DC, 44% on the night. They shot 44%, 36, almost 37% what Detroit shot from the field. That means Pelicans had 41% shooting from the 3-point line as they were able to knock down 14 of 34 3-pointers versus Detroit's 9 of 35, which is good for 26%. The Pelicans were, believe this or not, I think this is the second time this has happened this year. They were perfect from the free throw line. They were a perfect 16 for 16. That's like the second time that they've done that I've been keeping track, that they've had a perfect game from the free throw line, 16 of 16 from the free throw line. They kept the turnovers down. They had only 12 turnovers, which they gave up 11 points. They had a big amount of assists.
That's amazing.
31 assists on the night. 31 assists versus just 18 by Detroit. Get this, the Pelicans had 10 offensive rebounds. 10 of them. 43 defensive rebounds. So altogether, they had 54 extra.
You can thank Emeka Okafor for a couple of those, man.
That's true. He had 53 total rebounds. Of course, Detroit out-rebounded them by 54-53. But where the Pelicans really beat them bad in the paint, where they destroyed them in the points of paint battle, 54-38. Now remember, they beat the Nets last game 78 points to like 30 something in the paint. So they really started to get that going, and that's been the floor in which the Pelicans have been able to dominate on. But we're going to talk about more about this game. We're about to go into our first break. When we come back on the other side of the break, we'll break down and finish up on the Detroit matchup. We had interviews from AD coming up. We got Emeka Okafor will chime in. We also break down a few other topics like AD's role players, the Pels win their second in a row, and then we'll preview the Pelicans matchup against the Lakers, the final game before NBA All-Star break. We'll have all of that on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Pelican Post-Game Report on the PRO Media Network.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelicans. Attention, everyone. Get breakdown on games, free agent signings, and potential moves. Unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Balance. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is The Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out The Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? This Big Q from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Talking to you about the website, theposhlifestyle.com. That's right, theposhlifestyle.com. A great website where you can get great products at great prices. They sell organic herbs, vitamins, supplements, water filters for your home, EMF and cell phone radiation protection, healing magnetics and healing crystals, personal protection devices like cell phones, stun guns, and mace sprays, organic deodorants, shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, and more. They also sell 10A grade Brazilian hair. 10A music is available now. All kind of the latest downloadable mixtapes. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to theposhlifestyle.com. That's the Posh Lifestyle, life spelled with a Y, LYFE style.com. Put in the Sports Coma for the 10% discount on your purchase. It's a win-win. So get your mind and body right with the Posh Lifestyle.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
You're listening to the Pelicans Post-Game Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
That's right. Welcome back to the Pelican Post-Game Report on the PRO Media Network. We're covering the Pelicans' wonderful 118-103 win over the Detroit Pistons in Detroit as the Pelicans finish up on the 3-game road trip. They finish up 2-1 after having an 18-point letdown against the Sixers. They came back with a two overtime win over the Brooklyn Nets and then finish off the 3-game road trip by knocking off the Detroit Pistons by 15, 118-103, finishing 2-1, pushing Detroit into a 3-game slide, as well as the Pelicans starting a 2-game winning streak, hopefully to make it 3 against the Los Angeles Lakers, who are coming up Wednesday night in the Smoothie King Center with the repaired roof. So that's pretty good news, and when you say about what New Orleans is at right now, because based upon what we were seeing prior to that, they were on a 3-game slide. They were able to break that, get on a 2-game winning streak. It looks good. DC, before we play into AD's interview, what are your thoughts? Any other passing thoughts you want to talk about with the Detroit and Pistons matchup, Pelicans matchup? I know you was talking about Emeka Okafor, who will play right after the AD interview. I know you wanted to talk about him very quickly, didn't you?
Yeah, I think Emeka Okafor is a very hard-touching story, man. This guy hasn't played since maybe 2014, and we're the first team that's got him back after about 4 years, coming back from back problems, and he's been amazing for us, man. Guy gave us 13 minutes. 8 points, 7 rebounds, a block, and basically it was 40%. He shot 10 shots, could have done a little better there. But the effort and intensity that you see Emeka Okafor play with, as well as Sheik Diallo, they're really sparking that second unit. And I think the added benefit of giving Anthony Davis some rest time, he played 36 minutes tonight, and Mirotic only had to play 28 minutes. Those guys have been playing 45 minutes or so, maybe the last 3 games. So I think if we can keep that rhythm going, along with jrue-holiday only played 34 minutes, we can keep these guys rested. They'll be able to play with the type of intensity that they play with tonight on a consistent basis throughout the whole game. So maybe the third quarter problems have been just that, problems because guys don't really get much substitution going on, especially in the first half. So I'm really liking what I'm saying, man. I'm ecstatic. See what this takes the team, bro. This type of mind frame of playing maybe 10 or 11 guys.
Absolutely. And like I said, we got big ups to Emeka Okafor. He signed on a 10-day contract. By the looks of it, he might be able to stick and stay with the team. Simply hope so. Pelicans also still looking for other bigs to come in and back them up. So they definitely still need the bigs. And there are a few ones that we talked about on the prior podcast. They got guys like Anderson Varejao, Festus Ezeli, Andrew Bogut, and the likes that are still out there. It'd be interesting to see who, if the Pelicans sign the older guys, or probably perhaps sign a guy like Papagiannis, who was released by Sacramento. But they definitely need a big that can come off the bench that can help, a 7-foot big or a guy tweener. Right, one more big and maybe another point guard. But time is still, the Pelicans still have a lot of time.
It's basically an extra body, man, just in case something happens to Okafor or Sheik Diallo.
Absolutely.
We also need a guard, too. Our guards are pretty thin right now once we lost Jameer Nelson, and we couldn't keep Mike James because can't be mad at him for leaving. Al Gentry wouldn't play him for some reason. Mike James was a starting point guard, used to getting 30 minutes a game or so. And even when he was on the bench, he still got at least 15, 20 minutes. So it was very weird, I'm guessing, for him.
Right. Well, here's Anthony Davis as his thoughts on the game. Here's AD.
Kind of favored you against a smaller Detroit Pistons team?
I don't think they're smaller. They got, Stanley, who's a big guard. Blake and DeAndre, who's two big guys around the rim. I didn't favor it. We just went out there and just played, knowing that they played last night. Was in a tough game with Atlanta, and just wanted to come out and play a lot of energy.
You guys started off with a lineup change. What did you think of Emeka just coming in and doing the job that he did?
No, he did a good job. I mean, be able to rebound the basketball, set screens for us, and block some shots. He was talking on defense. Down there, banging with Andre. So, he did a good job for us. We like what he did. We'll see what happens next game.
Anthony, what did you like most about your guys' performance tonight?
Where we shared the ball. Our pace was good. Flying up and down the floor, able to get easy looks in transition. And we were sharing the basketball. Nobody was just out there, playing selfish. The ball was moving, and we were able to get easy looks.
First back-to-back wins since Cousins went down. How important is it to string together wins at this point in the season?
Definitely important, especially going to All-Star. We wanted to make sure that we finish the these last couple games strong. Take that break and then come back. We're fighting for a playoff spot with 5 or 6 other teams. So we know the other teams that we're playing against trying to do the same. So it's important that we go out here and play every game like it's our last.
I think this is the second straight game of 20.
That's Anthony Davis right there, breaking down his takes on the game and the contribution of his teammates. And besides his teammates, one of the guys that really gave a solid contribution, and one of our DC guys is, I guess DC will, if he keeps playing like he is, he'll be the Pelicans comeback player of the year. Perhaps, I mean, if you can save that for a Pelican who would be who would be up for such award, would it be Emeka Okafor? And here's Emeka Okafor. One of his first interviews, his premiere.
I didn't earn the interview already from the Pelicans post-game report?
We had Nikolai Mirotic. He popped on there for a couple of times. So here's Emeka Okafor making his Pelican post-game report debut.
All right, let's see what he got to say.
It was awesome. You know, it felt good to be. It feels good just to be back in whatever capacity. Me being able to start tonight was awesome. And able to contribute to the win. Felt good, and yeah.
I know you haven't been here very long, but it seemed like you guys had a good flow as far as, you were in the right spots and you were able to get a bunch of rebounds, make some shots. I mean, what did you attribute that to? You just seemed like
just paying attention. Just paid attention like no other. It was very interesting. Position being in the 10-day, and everybody's been very accommodating and coaches. But hey, man, if you need to know the plays, let me know. Video guys have been giving me, either the playbook or video plays, and players have been talking me through whatever needs to be talked through. So it's been a pretty, strong collective effort, just helping me get comfortable.
What was it like as far as, I know part of the reason that you were in the starting lineup was because you're going against, two of the best big guys in the league. So, what was it like to be able to go out there and hold your own?
I've guarded Blake several times in the past, and it's fun to go against Drummond, a fellow UConn alum. It was just good to go out there and battle, and for a coach to have confidence in starting me, and for the team to feel comfortable and putting me in that position.
What did you think about the team performance as far as coming back from double overtime last game and having really a solid game all around tonight?
Yeah, I think that everybody just showed up. True collective effort. AD was AD. He was spectacular tonight. As always. I think everybody chipped in, and we had this was a good flow for throughout the whole game.
Obviously, it was kind of a last second, at least to us, that you were starting. And you guys, I'm sure
that's Emeka Okafor, people, making his Pelican post game debut. And like DC said, the man's playing for the love of the game. This is the first overall draft pick some years ago here. I mean, this guy was taken first overall ahead of one Dwight Howard. A lot of people forget that draft when Okafor came out was, that was the 2004 draft. He was the first round pick, but he was second overall by Charlotte. It was Dwight who went ahead of him that year. That's right. Dwight was taken by the Magic that year, and Okafor was taken by Charlotte that year, and he was in the first round, second overall. But this is a guy who was a high draft pick for many years, who's ultimately, you look at his stat line, who on his career has averaged 12 points a game and 10 rebounds. So he averaged a double-double on his career. 9-year career. He's 35 years of age. And the last time he played was for Washington. And the 2012-2013 year, he played 79 games. He started 77 of them, averaged almost 10 points a game and almost 9 rebounds. So he had almost a double-double that year. After that, he just stopped. Now, he had back injuries and all this kind of stuff, herniated disc and all this, but he didn't come back until he was healthy enough. He healed and he came back, and then he started. That is a major milestone. As you heard, he said it was good to just get out there and battle those guys. It was good to feel that the people felt confident, the coach felt confident enough to start me and to put me in that position to start with all that experience that he had over years. So Gentry did say in the earlier interviews that it'll be a case-by-case basis based on who they play, that he would play Okafor. But I say, listen, do not tamper with this lineup, Gentry. Do not tamper with this lineup.
We should do this all the time.
All the time.
I mean, I don't think this is just because it was the Detroit Pistons. I mean, it's the fact that players can actually get a break. I think Al Gentry didn't want to trust anybody on this bench. I understand you want AD to be out there every minute of the game, but so does Cleveland want LeBron, and you even see LeBron get Gatorade from time to time. So I think it's a good idea to keep rolling with it. If you got a big guy that's competent as Emeka Okafor, and he can basically do all the dirty work you need to do, and give you a little bit of something on offense. His offensive game isn't AD or DeMarcus Cousins, but he definitely can provide some points in a very short span of time.
Absolutely. Let's move a little further, DC here. That was very pungent. Let's talk about the fact that we spoke about this, and we're going to run through these topics quickly. L. Gentry's job status, obviously, with this win, and he's on a 2-game winning streak, the closest I think that he came to being getting his ass handed to him was that if they would have lost that Brooklyn Nets game, but they were able to pull it off in 2 overtimes and come with a very impressive win against Detroit, and they have a good opportunity to beat the Lakers and go into the All-Star game on a 3-game streak.
Yeah.
Quickly, what's your thoughts on L. Gentry's job status as it stands?
On a scale from 1 to 10, and 10 being him ecstatic and keeping his job, never having to worry about it, he's at like a 1. He was at a 0.5 at the fourth quarter on that Brooklyn game.
It was close,
almost
boy.
out of here.
I'm telling you.
I put him as a 1, man, and he's still on the hot seat, in my opinion, because if they play 10 games or so and they fall back into that funk they were in, like when they first got Meritage and these newer guys, I really think, he could lose his job during the season. But if they continue to play the way they are now, sky's the limit. Maybe they get in the first round, and depending on who the matchup is, maybe they get in the playoffs in the first round, depending on who their matchup is, they might be able to get a victory. Maybe win the whole series at least.
AD is back at the 4. That was the most impressive of the things that I was noticing. I kept saying in previous podcasts, he does not like to play the 5. You never had him admit that,
right?
But you could tell body language wise that he do not
He
like
can
to play.
He can play spot duty at the 5.
Exactly.
Like I wouldn't mind seeing him do it from time to time.
Right, but not sit up there and live in the post like that the last 4 or 5 games with him at the 5. I really was appreciative of the fact that the staff actually listened to us and the rest of common sense Pelican fandom and moved Anthony Davis back. And what did he give you in that performance? But nothing but a 38 10 rebound, 2 block performance that really carried the team and across the line with a 15-point win. Also, he felt real comfortable. Who also felt real comfortable was the role players showed up. And we talking about the role guys. We're talking about Emeka Okafor, 8 points, 7 rebounds. We talking about Nikolai Mirotic, 21 points, 12 rebounds. We talking jrue-holiday, 21 points, 12 assists. We talking about Rondo's 8 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. We talk about Darius Miller, 12 points. We talking about Sheik Diallo came in for 17 minutes, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks. So, these guys, the role players, were in live effect for the Pelicans tonight. And you could see a relaxed and confident, good feeling Anthony Davis and a confident role staff. Not to mention the fact 31 assists. They were moving the ball, making shots, breaking down, penetrating. Jrue-holiday, don't you ever forget how you played in this game. If you can bring this level of attention to every game that you play when you attacking and you play, big ups to Jrue-holiday in this game. Very impressive performance against a guy like Stanley Johnson, who is Stanley Johnson, who is 6'7", and Jrue-holiday 6'4". But Drew would not let Stanley Johnson bully him. Jrue-holiday was aggressive. He was fighting, going back, arguing with the referees. I love to see that tenacity from Jrue-holiday. Stop being so meek, stop being quiet, and play like you did tonight against Detroit. And that was just excellent. DC, quickly, what's your thoughts on what I just said?
I think you hit the nail right on the head. But to me, Jrue-holiday always provides a ton of intensity on the defensive end. But I like to see him like that on offense and really take charge. And those 12 assists with 21 points, I'm looking, and I think maybe he only had one other game close to that this season, man. It was a masterful performance from him. And I think he needs to continue to have, like you said, that type of personality and persistence and just urgency all around with the game.
Absolutely. Let's
not get bullied on the offensive end. More importantly, me, because I don't see him get bullied a lot on the defensive end.
Well, the Pels win 2 in a row. The third win, they could really make it sweet for all the Pelican fandom if they could pull off a third straight win. The last game before.
Finally stop being win one, lose one, huh?
Yes. And finally get that third straight win against the Los Angeles Lakers, who are 23-32, 19-18. Although the Lakers have been playing really good the last 10 games. They've been playing really well. They're 7-3 the last 10 contests. And they switched and went on with the Lakers. They're 23-32 as it stands right now, 9-18 on the road. That game will be, of course, in the Smoothie King Center. And let's get right into that preview and prediction. As the Lakers come into this one, the Pelicans averaging 111 points a game while giving up 111. That's pretty much a mainstay on the season. 48% shooting from the field, 43 rebounds a game, 26 assists, 5 blocks a game, 8 assists a game. And they're winners of 2 in a row, looking for 3, and they're 5-5 of the last 10 contests. Looking at and switching to the Lakers average 107 flat. They give up 109.5. They shoot 46% from the field, 46 rebounds a game, 23.5 assists a game, 5 blocks a game, 8 steals per game, and they just lost one to the Dallas Mavericks by 7 the other day. They are now 7-3 on the last 10 games. So you're playing a Laker team that look different than the last Laker team that the Pelicans beat last year, 119 to 112. This is a different Laker club. They just got Isaiah Thomas there, and they in the trade with Shannon Fry. Lonzo Ball, of course, I don't know if he'll be playing. He's still out with that. I think it was an ankle injury that he suffered. So the report has him listed as out and day-to-day for Shannon Fry and Isaiah Thomas, but the rest of the Lakers staff is there. As we're looking at this matchup, the Lakers are 23-32 in the central part of the Pacific standings, and the Pelicans are 30-26, sitting 12.5 games back of Houston, who was the top dog in the Southwest Division, and the Rockets are currently on an 8-game winning streak between Houston and the Pelicans and San Antonio, who the Pelicans are about 4 games trailing. So there you go. DC, quickly, who wins this game and why?
I think the Pelicans ride that wave, man. They go ahead and get another victory. You know, after seeing how they played tonight, I'm not willing to bet against them, man. They come out and fall flat on their face. I'm going to ride with the wave they got going on.
Very good. I'm going to have to go with you on that because I think they stick with this lineup until it doesn't work anymore. Emeka Okafor looked comfortable in that center position. He can move. Although he's considered a center, he looks like a big power forward to me. And it allows Anthony Davis to play the power forward position. I like the energy and effort. Why would you not keep this lineup? Gentry.
He could beat anybody.
That's right. Do not outsmart yourself. Keep this lineup, man. Do not outsmart yourself. Keep this lineup. But anyway, that'll be it for the Pelican Post Game Report, brought to you by theposhlifestyle.com. Please go on their website, check them out. Also, donate to our Patreon page, www.patreon.com/the PRO Media Network, and subscribe to all of our social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Timber, Reddit, all that stuff. Subscribe, share. Thank you very much.
ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, world? This is DC from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Have you ever been sitting in front of your computer screen, or in traffic, tired, lacking energy, feeling drained? Did you know there are electromagnetic fields or EMF waves all around you that cause this disease? Get it? Dis-ease? Luckily here at Posh Lifestyle, you can get your EMF protection. They have pendants, the shell-dyed bricks, cubes, and pyramids. Check out theposhlifestyle.com. That's life spelled with a Y. POSHLYFESTYLE.com for all your health needs. So get your mind and body right with a Posh Lifestyle.
Clear, clean, great-tasting filtered water. We're all thirsty for it. But in the U.S. alone, an estimated 2.5 million plastic bottles are added to the environment each year in search of the perfect drink of water. There has to be a better solution, and there is. Crystal Quest, a leader in the manufacturing of water filtration technology, has been providing clean, drinkable water for 20 years. With a deep commitment to providing the highest quality products and excellent customer service, Crystal Quest has been recognized by such leaders as Consumers Digest, Dr. Oz, and Colin Ingram's The Water Drinking Book. Providing cost-effective, reliable water filtration systems for residential, commercial, and industrial customers worldwide, offering our customers the cleanest and most environmental-friendly drinking water at a rating of high purity. With Crystal Quest's water filtration technology, you can rest assured that your water will be crystal clear. Contact our network of authorized distributors and join our thousands of satisfied customers.
Just log into theposhlifestyle.com. Once again, that is theposhlifestyle.com.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.